There's a story that Daily Wire just broke, which is the evidence for an intuition that I said at the beginning of the Bud Light story. You know, the most important story in the news today, that Bud Light put a transvestite on a can designed initially for frat boys and construction workers. It actually does matter because it tells you a lot about how corporations work. When that story came out and Transheuser-Busch, AB InBev came out and said, oh, we know nothing about this. This was just some marketing lady. And the senior leadership didn't know, but we're not going to totally apologize for it, but we're going to try to distance ourselves. But we definitely didn't know. My first reaction was, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. It was convenient that they could put the whole thing on that VP of marketing, Alyssa Heinerscheid, I think her name was, because there were some videos of her that were unflattering, making fun of the Bud Light customer base. I said, there's no way it was just this random VP of marketing. This is a systemic, company-wide issue. Bud Light and Transheuser-Busch and AB InBev broadly are pro-trans. And they're just trying to create a little bit of distance and put it on this random lady. But it's not. That's why they won't apologize. If Bud Light really were opposed to the Dylan Mulvaney of it all, or opposed to transvestitism and this crazy social position from the left, then they would have come out and apologized, and they would have fired the VP of marketing right away. They would have issued a clarification, said, we don't support Mulvaney, we don't support transgenderism, and they didn't do that. So, because it has very little to do with that VP of marketing. And now we've got the evidence for it. Here, the evidence is that Anheuser-Busch is not the good old American beer corporation that we're told that it is. Anheuser-Busch is a Belgian corporation. In 2008, the Belgian company InBev bought Anheuser-Busch for $52 billion. Now, being owned by a Belgian company, the AB InBev family of products is now beholden to the more European, more left-wing, more pro-UN, more pro-World Economic Forum kinds of corporate policies. And they're expressing that in their own words. AB InBev admits it wants to ensure pro-trans diversity, quote, touches upon all functions, including marketing. Now they're going to can this lady, Alyssa Heinerscheid, for doing her job. AB InBev has embraced all sorts of woke initiatives, the ESG movement, environmental social governance policies, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, all the rest of it, along with a full endorsement of transgenderism. AB InBev will foot the bill. It will help to fund the transgender transition surgeries for employees who think that they're the opposite sex. AB InBev has an official corporate policy that exalts, quote, gender identity and expression and raises it to the same level of significance as race and age. AB InBev not only indoctrinates all of their managers and employees in this nonsense, they also require external suppliers to submit themselves to this kind of pro-trans woke nonsense. And this isn't anything new. The reason that I was able to know this before the specific details came out, it's not because I'm Nostradamus and I took out my crystal ball. Maybe that was part of it. But it's because Bud Light has been signaling its pro-LGBT stance for years now. But Bud Light has put out all sorts of rainbow materials in recent years. Then they put a transvestite on the can and people push back and Bud Light plays dumb and plays innocent. How did this ever happen? But it gets even bigger than that. People are raving about Genucel skincare. Jessica from Huntsville, Alabama says, my skin looks so soft and clear. I've seen a reduced number of fine lines and dark spots. I found a new lifetime product. Absolutely love it. Genucel skincare uses a one-of-a-kind proprietary flower base developed by the founder and pharmacist, who is a great guy, by the way. It also comes along with rare botanical extracts and powerful antioxidants for skincare results that work, guaranteed. I said I would not endorse the product if I could not try it, if I were not impressed by the product. And also, fellas, I know sometimes men are a little skeptical of getting into cosmetics too much. Even slightly more men than women use Genucel, and for good reason. Genucel's most popular package is available to you today for 70% off, 70, at genucel.com/KnowlesYT. Join millions of happy customers who've already fallen in love with the results. Plus, for a limited time, get Genucel's probiotic extract moisturizer free with every most popular package. Go to genucel.com/KnowlesYT, genucel.com/KnowlesYT. So the World Federation of Advertisers is a huge trade group. It includes people like AB InBev, Adidas, BP, CVS, Goldman Sachs, MasterCard, McDonald's, Merck, Nike, Procter & Gamble, of course, the wokest corporation on earth, Hershey, Disney, Unilever, Walmart, among others. They created a new entity. And the entity is called GARM. GARM is the Global Alliance for Responsible Media. Libs love acronyms and initialisms. And so GARM is a, quote, cross-industry initiative. So this is an agreement among the world's largest corporations and platforms, that's crucial, to demonetize what they consider to be harmful content. What do you think qualifies as harmful content? Just true things. So AB InBev and the big tech platforms such as YouTube, TikTok, they created new standards to limit the reach of and demonetize content that it contains, quote, hate speech about, you guessed it, gender identity, insensitive treatment of debated social issues, and misinformation. When did this policy come out? When did this major corporate group start clamping down on misinformation? Why? In their words, quote, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. So in the wake of what the liberals themselves were calling a great reset of our economy and society, the biggest corporations in the world team up with far-left organizations, the European Commission, the NAACP, and they create these new standards, some of which are explicitly pro-trans. So GARM is so powerful, GARM controls so much money, not just the advertising budget of Bud Light, but lots of other entities too, that the big tech platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, all of them are writing pages and pages of reports about how they will run their platforms to satisfy the GARM standards. We have screenshots of all of this. I have a long Twitter thread on this if you want to go check it out. And then the little cherry on top of this liberal sundae is that GARM is now an initiative of the World Economic Forum. So the World Economic Forum, which is the kind of liberal James Bond villain group that meets in Davos, Switzerland, up in the Alps and decides how to rule the world, the World Economic Forum gobbles up GARM as a flagship project under the Platform for Shaping the Future of Media, Entertainment, and Sport. You don't need to pull out your tinfoil hat. You don't need to go sussing around the ponds to find the chemicals that turn the frogs gay, even though those chemicals exist and Yale and the federal government discovered them. That's a story for another time. All you need to take away here is that the largest corporations on earth have come together to embrace far leftism, including the radical trans ideology. They've agreed not only to hold each other to those standards, they've now got so much weight that they're pressuring the social media companies to implement those standards. And it's being centralized even further under banners of international institutions like the World Economic Forum. Bud Light, as I've said from the beginning, can't totally disavow Dylan Mulvaney, can't disavow transgenderism. Bud Light's corporate policies won't let them do that. But Bud Light also can't embrace transgenderism all that openly because then they're going to lose their entire customer base and then they're not going to have a product to hold to those standards anyway. So they're caught between a rock and a hard place right now. They're hoping that conservatives just forget about it and they can move on and continue to uphold these standards and not change anything about their corporate policies. They're hoping that conservatives will either have an affection for the free market as some kind of idol to say that we worship corporations and they can do whatever they want. Just don't let the government tell me what to do. They're betting on that, and they're betting on us having the attention span of a fruit fly so that we'll move on. I think they're surprised that conservatives continue to boycott Bud Light, that their sales continue to decline. We've got to keep that pressure up because it's about a lot more than Bud Light. You've got to crack these multinational corporate policies so that you get the pressure off of the other companies and you get the pressure off of the social media companies. You've got to keep pushing to crack the whole thing. If all we did was take down Transheuser-Busch, the machine would keep on turning. Man, that was one sizzling hot clip, huh? If you want to get more of those clips and long interviews and the Yes or No Game and Face Off and The Daily Show, you got to subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. Click it, ring the bell, do the thing. We'll catch you next time.